Today I want to title this one Misguided Loyalty. I'll go into detail about this because this may be something that some of you guys go through. Now, we all know that we live in a very material world. Everybody's trying to broadcast who they are and what they've got. Most of them, when they put themselves in the spotlight, it's not in the spirit of help. It is in the spirit to try to boost self-esteem, make themselves feel important. From the minute that they wake up in the morning to the time they go to bed at night, all they care about is how important they are. We know that. But there are certain underlying qualities that are necessary to maintain a long-term relationship. And it doesn't matter if it's family, a business, social, it could be a relationship that you're involved in. There are certain internal qualities that are necessary in order to keep that relationship going for a long period of time. And it has nothing to do with what your economic status or your educational status or religion. And one of those things is loyalty. Now, some people are misguided about loyalty. They figure they're going to be there no matter what, keep their mouths shut and just let whoever it is they care about do what they want to do without saying a word. Okay, you want to call that loyalty, that's fine. But when they hurt themselves, the first thing they're going to do is blame you for not saying anything. I look at it like this. True loyalty is when, yes, you're going to be with that person through thick and thin, but you're not going to be afraid to let them know when they're headed in the wrong direction either. You're not going to sit quietly and allow them to continue to hurt themselves. A truly loyal person will not let you sit there and keep speeding and speeding and speeding and speeding until you hit the wall when they know it's wrong. They're going to be that voice of reason in the midst of chaos. They're going to be that emergency contact in case you can't get in contact with anybody else. They're going to be those few extra dollars that'll get you through payday if they have it and they give it to you. They're going to be that person. But they're not going to co-sign on all your bullshit. As a matter of fact, they're going to do everything that they can to try to help you correct it or get out of it. That's what true loyalty is. And it's funny because, I mentioned previously that I was in a situation where I was temporarily homeless and I had to go into a program. And, I had to learn a lot of things about myself internally because let me tell you guys the truth. If you don't have shit, the only thing you're going to do is work on the inside because you ain't got nothing else. And I could tell you right now, to this day, a lot of people that I know from the program that I keep in contact with on a regular basis. And when I mean regular, I'm talking about at least once a week. We communicate. And not just, hey, how you doing? I mean, have conversation. We keep up with each other. There are a couple of people that I still keep in contact with. Because their lives, just like mine, is totally different than it was back then. But we had to make that connection. And that's why in some programs, like the one that I was in, they try to help you work on your inside so that way you can fix your outside. Let me say that again. The program that I was in helped you work on your inside so you could fix your outside. See, what you have on the inside is not just inside. It reflects on your outside and everything around you. It radiates a certain energy. And there are certain qualities that you have to work on. Some people never had to deal with anyone who was devoted to them or loyal to them. They didn't understand what that was, so needless to say, they couldn't reciprocate. That's how come every time they got in relationships, there was problems because they never were exposed to that. Some people weren't exposed to ambition. They didn't understand what that was. They don't know what it's like to level up or have any goals or have any desires. They weren't exposed to it. So they turn around and get involved in a relationship with people, and then they're stuck in the same situation year after year after year with the same person. And the other person's frustrated because they're not going anywhere. That's because that person doesn't know what it's like to try to level up or try to set goals or set boundaries or schedule anything. They have no clue about that. So in their minds, they're just vibing. You know, there's a phrase back in the day they used to say, still waters run deep. Well, here's the 21st century version from me. Still waters may run deep, but stagnant waters draw mosquitoes. You ever seen a pool of water that's never moving, no wind or anything like that? After a while, that water starts to stink, and right before you know it, you got a nest of mosquitoes. And that's exactly what your soul is if you don't work on yourself. You're going to be like a pool of stagnant water. And then after a while, you're going to let off a certain odor, and people are not going to want to deal with you. And then you're going to start drawing the mosquitoes. And I don't have to tell you who the mosquitoes are. You already know. But sometimes people are loyal to a fault. And I had to encounter this on my journey. There are many times in my life where I was loyal to a fault. And the reason why I was loyal to a fault was because I knew that this person was in a messed up situation. I knew that these people were doing things that would get them in a world of hurt. And I also knew that if they get in trouble, I get in trouble. I go down with them. So you can't do that. And as much as it hurts you from cutting that person off, you could have been brought up since you were in diapers together. But if that person's involved in a situation, they won't listen to your warnings. They won't pay attention to what anybody has to say about it. And you turn around and you stay loyal, quote unquote. When they get in trouble, you're going down too. Do you want to take that chance? Or would you rather just walk away while you have the freedom to walk away? Now, I know this flies in the face of a lot of street philosophers. Street philosophers are going to sit there and say, oh, well, you know, that's my dog, that's my dog. But let me tell you something. Them same street philosophers, if they turn around and they get a deal with the government because a crime was committed, and they get a deal with the government between doing 20 years and being free, they're going to sing like a bird. Now, I'm sorry, I hate to hurt any of y'all's feelings, but they're going to sing. A lot of them are going to sing because it's come down to the wire. They got to think about what they're going to be leaving for 20 years. When it's in their face, it's a different story. And you all know this. That's what I mean by misguided loyalty. There's nothing wrong with being loyal to a person, but if you are constantly trying to tell them to stay out of trouble and constantly trying to warn them and help them and they don't want to listen to you, first of all, they're not reciprocating that loyalty by heeding to your warnings. They're not listening to you. So they're not being as loyal to you as you are to them, are they? Misguided loyalty. Don't give it away. If these people are taking your friendship so much for granted where they figure you're going to always be there no matter what kind of stupid stuff they get involved in, but you're giving away all your loyalty to them, how fair is that? It's not. They're disrespecting you by not listening to what you have to say, by not paying attention to you. But you don't see that because you want to be loyal. Loyal to what? What are you being loyal to? And you might want to listen to my audio, that I did before when I was talking about reciprocation. Bottom line is this. Look, if you're not willing to pour into me as much as I pour into you, or at least remotely close, or trying to get remotely close to it, you on your own, buddy. I can't get those few minutes back. And see, a lot of y'all, especially in a lot of these social and religious organizations, y'all running around just giving away your loyalty, giving away your patience, giving away your resources like it's just unlimited forever, like you're going to have it all the time. Because you are brainwashed to believe that all the time. And it's not the truth. Those blessings were given to you. And yes, it is good for you to share your gifts, but it's also your responsibility to share your gifts wisely. And that's the part that you didn't pay attention to when it was taught to you. You can't cast your pearls among swine? That's what a lot of you are doing right now. Just flinging your money in every direction, every single person that goes whining, lending your ear to every single person's problems without investigating what the problem is, if there even is one. I mean, you just giving because you're reborn and saved and all this stuff, and you haven't done any work, and then you turn around later on when you find out you've been taken. You running around here bad mouthing people and talking about how you're going to pray for them because they're so horrible. You better pray for yourself for being naive. Misguided loyalty. Or you might be one of those type of people that figure, oh, well, no one else will do anything for them. Let me help them out. You better find out why nobody else is doing anything for them and they're within earshot. You have this one person that's got 50 people within earshot. I mean, literally, if they stood outside and hollered, these people could hear them. They're so close, but they won't do anything to help them. You better investigate before you open your checkbook. Investigate before you give them a key. Investigate before you give them your attention. Because you're like, why are all these people around here in this area so close to them and nobody will give them a chance? What's up? This is where the old bag of tricks come in. Some of y'all will say that you're brand new. You brand new, all right, but you're brand new in the detriment. You're brand new in a bad way. Your flower child, lovey-dovey, kumbaya, hold hands and everything else, and can't see what's in front of you. The common sense that you had have gone from one ear out the other. Everything that you knew about everything that helped make you successful, keep a roof over your head and food in your belly, you totally forgot about, and you're worse off than you were before you became the so-called new person. And you're wondering why. Don't have sense enough to realize that you're not using common sense anymore. You done took leave of common sense. That's why you're suffering. It's not some demon or anything like that. It's simply that you have decided that you're going to totally just take leave of your senses and wait for some star to sit there and make simple decisions that you were able to make before. There is nothing wrong with letting your creator take over in situations you can't handle. But you got to remember, you are still capable of handling some things. And some of you right now had a good, decent paying job, wasn't hurting nobody and wasn't doing anything to destroy anything. And you turn around and you give up the job knowing that you got a mortgage and a car and kids and everything else. You give up the job just because somebody that stands behind a podium, you misinterpreted what was told to you, knowing that you got these obligations. And then you want to sit there a year or so down the road when everything's repossessed and you got to move and you got to lose this. Nobody told you to do all that. Now, if the job that you were doing beforehand was in direct conflict and caused some harm and really was in direct conflict of what you believe in, okay, fine. But you got to use some common sense to make sure you got some money set aside so you can continue to take care of yourself. Because it doesn't matter what organization you belong to, the first of the month is going to be the first of the month, and it's going to keep being the first of the month until time ends. And those bills are going to be due. Misguided loyalty. So I've given you guys a few scenarios about misguided loyalty. There are certain things that we have to protect that are internal, that cannot be seen. They're intangible, and we have to watch how we dispense them. And loyalty is one of them. A little bit later on, I might talk about how we dispense our intelligence, how to spend it, how to save it. With that being said, I'm going to leave you all to it. Peace to all of you.